Good morning and welcome to Gulfstream Park on this picture-perfect afternoon here at sunny South Florida. Fast track, pardon me, turf is firm. I was trying to make that one word completely. And the Tapeta is always fast. Samantha Perry here, joined with Brian Nato, and a great day for racing we've got today,
Yeah,
Brian.
absolutely. Like Ronnie always says, a Chamber of Commerce kind of day here. Rainbow Six is growing already, and Ron will be out here in race 4 for a ticket. That gross jackpot guarantee there. We see it there, $150,000. So we've got a lot to look forward to. As you mentioned, a firm turf course. The weather is beautiful. It's supposed to be all weekend long. Stakes races on Saturday to look forward to. And early pick 5 here in the opener. We'll take a look at my ticket. I've got the early one. You've got the late one. $18, excuse me, a scratch in here. So we'll go 3 deep in the opener, 2 deep in race number 2. The single is in race number 3. That's my best bet. Number 2, Ghostly Night. 4-7 is the order in race number 4. And then in a good turf maiden special weight in race number 5, 6-7-2 certain on top for me, and I think you pulled up a replay of that one as well. So off the claim for Jack Sisterson.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting horse to watch and a very good race. And some sneaky good races here today on the card as we get into race number 1, a mile and a 16th on our firm turf course. And it is a beautiful course at that. I really like the way it's been holding up so far, and it will probably continue throughout the whole meet. Just some nice grass racing. Now, Brian, this race here, claiming $20,000 level, and these are kind of your mares that are hard hitting. Nothing really wows us, I would say, whenever they perform, but they're always there in the money.
Yeah, I agree, and it looks like we both have Pearlescent on top for Liz Doble's an imaginary stable, and maybe we get a little bit of a price here. The 2 money factor is out of the opener, but Liz, as we've been talking about it quite a bit, she's been clicking on all cylinders, albeit more on the Tapeta than the turf, but she's going to add blinkers here on a horse that's already shown some speed, and there's not a lot of early pace in this opener.
No, there really isn't, and this is kind of a move for her where I like the fact that she's giving this mare a little more time off between November 25th and November 4th. Those were 2 pretty strenuous races that this mare had. Now she's got a little over a month to kind of get into herself, and they are putting the blinkers on her for the first time. And we both have some interest in the number 7 as well, Mia at Midnight. And this is a horse from the Pete Walder barn that I believe we have a stat on, if you want to go ahead and take it away with that.
Take a look at it. It's just not a great one. 1 for 16 turf routes here at Gulfstream in the past year. And this horse is going to be heavily bet. The 8 Una Luna is out as well, I should have mentioned. And Mia at Midnight off the New York and Santa Anita races is going to be bet, and she's going to be bet hard. Jose Ortiz is here as well. And she's the most likely winner in this spot. But, the stat doesn't really flatter Peter, who does such a good job in basically everything he does. So if you're looking to try to beat a horse, maybe at an underlaid short price, this might be the right time to do it.
Yeah, it really will. And at first, I think that was a horse that a lot of people are going to be drawn to. But with the scratches and whatnot, I think that Pearlescent really does have a good shot. And then the number 1 I had some interest in as well, Brian. That's Current Situation. John Service, this horse is getting back on the grass here after 2 Tapeta efforts. And they weren't bad, but just not very trustworthy.
No, I tend to agree with that. And with Paco Lopez down aboard on the inside, you would think he probably sends her away from the gate and tries to get brave. She's shown speed in the past to be on the lead, and she's been very tactical of late on the Tapeta. Paco, an aggressive guy, would expect to see her setting the splits here.
Mile and a 16th is the distance of race number 1. Race number 2, maiden $35,000, 6 furlongs on our fast main track. And what I think, Brian, is kind of a weaker maiden. I'll kick it off because we've got a work replay of the number 3 Riverview Stevie here working at Palm Meadows for the Savvy Joseph Jr. barn. This is a horse working here on the inside with the very precocious sire. Sharp Azteca has really made quite a splash here. Now on the outside is Shankar, who's run 2 different second place finishes in maiden special weights, albeit they were for Florida breds, but still, I think that it says a lot about this horse. He keeps his own here with Shankar on the inside, and it's just a very nice, even work. I like to see that here. Safi Joseph has a lot of horses, so he's able to kind of match these horses up, and I think it says a lot about this filly, the fact that this horse has been running in main special weights, and this horse is in for $35,000, but I think she's a good good spot in here.
Yeah, he's certainly not giving her away. He co-owns a horse as well. Slew of workouts here, and that one definitely, you look like she could run a little bit. And I think 35 is significant too. You know, she's not in for 12-5. She's not in for 16. So it's not necessarily like he wants to lose her, but you know, playing a little poker here. Hey, man, I got a horse that can run a little bit. You want to claim her? Go ahead. But 35 is not easy.
No, it's not. And the number 6, who you have on top, David Fox, sometimes takes a little bit for his horses really to, I feel like, get in good form, especially these younger horses here. I like the fact that she does have 3 starts already under her belt.
Yeah, I like her posts as well. A lot of these horses are going to get Lasix for the first time, running now as newly turned 3-year-olds. Tyler Gaffalione lands here. She's going to have to, I'd like to see a little more speed out of her. Maybe the Lasix puts it in her. Obviously, you've got to get by her last race, and it wasn't pretty, but on the maiden special weight drop with a good post, I think Omo 10 Girl's a big threat in here.
Race number 3 here is claiming $12,500 non-winners of 3 lifetime 6 furlongs on the dirt. This is an all button for me. Actually, pardon me, guys. I've got an early pick 4 ticket. I just blew right over that. We just got so excited with these maidens here. Let's see the ticket. I'm just going to single the 3 Riverview Stevie. In race 3, I'm going all, and it's just way too not of a trustworthy race at all. In race number 4, I really like the 4. Find Your Passion. And in race 5, my top pick is the number 6 out of that race. So we'll go ahead and now jump to race number 3. It's the all button for me here, Brian. I don't trust anybody in this race.
I think that's fair. My best bet is Ghostly Knight in here, and so I'll lead it off. And it's kind of because of what Samantha just said. The other ones I don't have a lot of use for, and she got back to the dirt last time for Claudio Gonzalez, and it was her first dirt start for Claudio, and she just blew the doors off a field. It was a 2L group, and she's meeting a little tougher in here, but I'll throw it back to you because I'm assuming you just don't want anybody in here that you can trust.
Yeah, no, I you know, by default, I have to put her in because, like you said, as soon as she got to the dirt, she was really impressive in that, but that was non-winners of 2. Sometimes horses, when they try something for the first time, whether it's turf sprinting, dirt sprinting, anything like that, they'll run their biggest race the first effort, and so I'm kind of thinking maybe she'll have some issues. I'm glad you've got the number 1 horse, No Decap, down a lot lower on your ticket as well, because I think that a lot of people are probably going to bet this horse, and this horse has had so many issues breaking from the gate. It's not even funny. And now with the 1 post position again, I don't see it at all.
Yeah, no, I agree. And off the claim away from Carlos David, you know, Clifton Christie claims this one from Carlos David. We'll see what we get today, but I was against her as well. And you know, you look at the morning line, and everyone's between 5-2 and 5-1, so it's that kind of wide open betting race, and tough to kind of figure out, and that's why I like singling, because obviously, you know, if you don't have a strong opinion, you could use 4 here and not get it done.
You could. Yeah, exactly. That's why it's an all button for me, especially in a shorter field. And the number 3, Maybe Lucky and Wild here, getting IRAD, which is a huge pro for this horse.
It's interesting, isn't it? I mean, you know, typically you might not see him in these kind of spots. I do think this horse is probably, if he wants to be aggressive, the controlling speed in here, or at least on the lead in here. But, you know, a low percentage barn attracting IRAD, it is interesting, if nothing else. But again, she did not do any running last time.
No, it's just not a very trustworthy race. As we move on to race number 4, 5 furlongs on the Tapitas, scratch the 1, 5, and 8 out of this race. And where do you go now with this, Brian?
Take a look at Ronnie's Rainbow in here, and then we'll see what he's doing in here. He'll be up later for it as well. There's the playbook, 43-20. And the single is in race number 7. He's got spreads early on. There you see the single. That is 74 for Ron. That's Signal from Noise. Chad Brown facing winners for the first time. She was so good last time at that is the actual Aqueduct last time, and then a 3x2 late double, 43-20. That Rainbow is getting up there, 150 already in that gross jackpot guarantee.
Yeah, and it'll continue to grow, and we've seen these pools just be astronomical, especially the early pick 5 and late pick 5s, but the early pick 5 has really been shocking me. So in this race here with the scratches, you know, this is tough because a lot of these horses were running in a little bit of a tougher spot after they broke their maiden, and now they're dropping back to this $16,000 level.
Yeah, I mean, I lost my top pick, Feisty Sarah, who I thought was going to be tough, and you said it perfectly. They're all coming out of better races, or theoretically better races, but now they're all facing each other. So what do you get? You know, I thought regardless of the scratch of Feisty Sarah and Love is Awesome and Jellybean, I still thought Find Your Passion might be loose in here.
Yeah.
It's Paco again, Paco Lopez, and now I would think she's definitely loose in here. All sorts of value is gone in this spot, but you would think he puts her on the lead, and we've said it time and time again, if you're sprinting on the Tapeta, being in front's not a bad spot to be.
No, it's not. And I think this filly's heading in the right direction as well. Now, I don't think she's a world beater by any means, but for this barn, I think that at this level, she's going to be pretty consistent. We'll see her run a lot more times during this meet, and I'm sure she'll be hitting the board. Now, the number 6, Girl Bye, for the Louis Ramirez barn, Irad Ortiz, and another one that Irad's on that kind of makes you wonder.
No, I agree, and I think of the class droppers that are in here, this is the most significant one. Starters, optional claimer last time, but then the Florida Bred Stakes races as well. And yeah, Irad gets aboard, and he's got a horse that I think drawn outside the 4. He's not going to let her get away too far, and you know they could hook up. They could hook up early and often.
They really could. And we're going to take a quick break. We are doing this, pardon me, a little bit later than should have, but we are going to take a quick break. And when we are back, we will go through the late pick 5.
This is a championship meet. All the best jockeys in the world are here, and I'm excited to ride against them.
We back.
And you get to watch some really incredible, talented athletes out there.
To us, it's a place to be in the winter.
I love Gulfstream Park because of the racing.
The palm trees, the beaches right here. The horse racing is some of the best in the country.
A lot of good horses come out of here. And if you want to go to the next level, Gulfstream Park was the place to come.
I remember the first time I came to Gulfstream, it was like this big fairy tale place. All the history. And all these great horses, trainers, jockeys. It was everything that I ever dreamed of.
We are back here at Gulfstream today. Brian Nato and Samantha Perry here, getting you through the card on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon here at Gulfstream Park. Race number 5 kicks off the late pick 5. I have put a ticket together here, 6 and 7 to start this race off in a very nice 5 furlong maiden special weight. We'll get to that in just a moment. And race number 6, my top pick out of that is the number 2, Cajun Bayou. And race 7, I'm singling with the 5, Classy Edition, making her return for the Todd Pletcher barn. Race 8, the number 3, Smart Spending, with Paco Lopez aboard, looking to make it back-to-back wins. Race number 8, my top selection being the number 3 out of this. Oh, and race number 9, the 2, I have a lot of interest in. Midnight Getaway with Lionel Reyes in the saddle, who's been bringing in bomb after bomb, it seems like, as of late.
45, 25, and 24, I think, last week on consecutive days, and we love the work Lionel does down here, so kudos to him. He's one of those riders, sometimes can fall through the wagering cracks a little bit, but he's going to ride every race like it's the Pegasus for sure.
Yeah, and you love to see the effort, especially with these some of these lower level claiming races. But this race, 5 furlongs on the grass, maiden special weight event, scratched the 1, 3, 10, and 11 out of this race, and still leaves a really nice competitive field. We've got a replay here of the number 6, Certain, in this race, finishing second. Now, he has since been claimed from the Jack Sisterson barn. We'll see, this is him here. He broke from the 8 post position, Brian, which was nice that he saved so much ground. And this horse was so game in this effort.
No doubt about it. I mean, he was a strong play for me in this spot coming out of that huge Keeneland debut. He didn't run, but that was the Arabian Night race. But unfortunately for him, as you see the Live Oak course running off the screen, he met what will soon be, I don't think I'm going out on a huge limb, a future stakes winner on the turf. That horse, Super Quest, just ran off the screen. Certain ran a winning race. I talked to Jack Sisterson that day after he made the claim. He was, very happy and felt like he got a very live horse. And I think it's a great sign that Jack comes back now in a spot where Certain can't be claimed. I like this horse today.
Yeah, I think this horse will be so tough. Now, obviously, he's going to have to deal with the number 7, Listen to the Music from the Danny Gargan barn. Yet to pick up a win yet, but once this barn gets hot, it's kind of hard to keep him down. Irad Ortiz gets in the saddle here, and this is a horse that You know, the thing I love the most about the 6 and the 7 is they're both geldings here. They're both getting Lasix for the first time now. The 7 horse was running in some pretty competitive full fields at the Belmont Aqueduct meet most recently, his last start. And, you know, when you look back at that race, the track variant, it was very high for the turf that day, and I think he's going to really take to this track here.
Yeah, he might really like hearing his feet rattle on this firm turf course today. He's the one to beat. He's the one to catch. He'll be a short number. Now, with that being said, he was favored last time, and he couldn't see out a 2-length late lead, and you're going to be an underlaid price in here too. But, yeah, I'm not getting involved in this pick 5 ticket without having listened to the music on it.
The number 2, Lieutenant Stan, coming from the Mark Cassie barn. This is a horse that is getting onto the Gulfstream Park turf course for the first time after some mild efforts at Woodbine here. They tried last time to get on the grass but couldn't due to rain. You know, now breaking from the rail, I feel like this horse has a little bit more hurdles than probably normally.
No, I think that's a good point, and this is going to be sharp for him because, you know, that Woodbine race at 7 furlongs, that's okay, but, you know, that's night and day different than what he's going to get down here.
Exactly.
So I'm a little bit against him, at least on top, and I think we both stopped at the 6-7 in our tickets.
Yeah, and it's funny. We're both completely fading the Todd Pletcher horses. Both of them I just don't really see to be productive here on the grass. I know the 4 Assume Nothing is a half to flown. I actually galloped that horse for Brendan Walsh, and she was nice going longer on the grass, but I just this is, I think, a race to play against.
I just feel like this is the right time to beat this barn at a turf sprint, 11% in turf sprints, a slew of works here. And, you know, these horses could be okay, but I would just think maybe this is the start of maybe something down the road, a little longer.
Yep, I agree. Race number 6 is start of the late pick 4, and Brian, you've got a ticket for us.
A little bit reworked here at $27, 3x3 double to get into it, and we will talk about this race in a second. And then 2 deep in race number 8. The rework was in the finale, and with the new order there after a key scratch of the 1 Solomon's Gold, who was my long shot play, unfortunately, on the day. So the order is 2, 6, 5 in the finale, $27. That's kind of on the upper level of the tickets you and I kind of put out a little bit. But I found it a little hard to really get condensed in these last 4 races.
It is, especially if you don't want to take a stand against the 7th race, which is a really competitive race. But the 6th race here, non-winners of 2 lifetime, 6.5 furlongs on our fast main track. Scratch the 3L Guapo here. And we don't have Dennis down here right now with us, our camera guy, but I thought the moped Dennis, I thought he would like that.
Oh, I'm sure he would have got a mention, that's for sure. So.
I can't imagine Dennis on a moped, and I don't want to. But the number 2 here, I picked on top, Brian. You've got picked 3rd, Sonny Leon, Kentucky Derby winning rider here, second off a layoff for the Edgar Baya barn. And I think this horse, you know, first off the claim, I like the work that this barn does.
Yeah, I agree. This is a barn that's 4 for 11 off the claim, has won some races down here during the championship meet and came down, I would say, maybe, you know, late October, early November and got going a little bit. Cajun Bayou has been in very, very good form, aired 2 back and then came right back against winners and ran really, really well. I don't like the fact that he has a lack of early speed, but it wouldn't shock me at all if he's got a little bit more of it today.
The number 4, Federal Exchange. This is a horse that they've kind of tried a little bit of everything with, but the best effort was 2 back on the dirt, and that's what he gets back here to today.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of speed in this race. I'm not saying he's going to be on the lead, but I would think he's going to be close. You know, we have to kind of mention the elephant in the room in here, and that we're talking about horses that are 1 for 29, 16, 18. They've had their chances, but the majority of them have, so somebody's going to have to win, at least with Cajun Bayou, only 8 lifetime races. And Moped Dennis, for that matter, we can just give him another shout, has only run 10 times. There's a lot of, I call them refusers a little bit.
That's good. Yeah, they don't want to win, is what I like to say. Race number 7, a very, very nice allowance optional claiming event. 1 mile or 1 turn mile here, 4 fillies and mares, 4-year-old and upward. Scratch the 3, Liam's Kiss out of here, and you went with the 7. This is an interesting choice. I'm excited to hear what you have to say about this.
Well, you know, Liam's Kiss is out, and, you know, why run 2 when you can run 1 and win for Todd Pletcher? And Classy Edition, I think, is she's so dangerous if she's ready to roll in what's now her 4-year-old debut. I liked Customer Driven's comeback last time. I would expect her to be a little tighter. She's well drawn outside the flow of this race is to be determined, but they look to me like they might go a little bit in this race and be a little snappy up front. It's a demanding one-turn mile. I feel like there's some vulnerability from horses like the Force, Signal from Noise. You're on the best horse. There's no doubt about that. But, you know, obviously I'm sure Todd Pletcher in the group and the Lows are hoping for a big campaign.
Yeah.
And maybe Classy Edition's just not cranked to the gills today. Customer driven. Should be a decent price in here as well.
You know, and my biggest maybe kind of head scratcher with Classy Edition is Irad Ortiz has won 3 races on her, and 3 of those were 3 in a row. And now he's on the 4 Signal from Noise. Now, that's for the Chad Brown barn, and she just broke her maiden, and she wasn't running against anything, quite frankly. But I just thought that was kind of an interesting rider switch here. I mean, I don't really know the whole situation with that, but still, I think that Classy Edition, she looks fit enough from her works here. Earlier in this, well, I should say last year, she was working with Mo Donegal.
Yeah, well,
so that says a lot. And she's got an advantage over others, and she's getting Lasix for the first time, which is, you know, that helps a lot. But still, the way the Todd Pletcher barn has been firing lately, 4 for 27, it's not like that's a small sample size.
Yeah, barn was very slow, did pick up a couple wins, but I agree. We've seen a lot of well-meant horses not fire for the barn. I don't think there's any doubt about that. We even saw, I thought Litigate, even on Sunday, he ran fine. Don't get me wrong. I thought Litigate was 2 to 5 off the far turn and couldn't see it out, and Battalion Runner didn't run an inch. So, you know, food for thought, but it's exciting to see Classy Edition come back as well, and we know her here in South Florida with that big second in the Devona Dale last year.
If there's a horse I think that can really upset this, I don't know at what kind of price, but the number 1 Truancy, this filly tries every single time, and you love to see that. And the great connections here. Barkley Tag is out there every afternoon grazing his horses at Palm Meadows. I mean, but I think she's a filly that might need a race.
Yeah, it's interesting that she's even here. I mean, she's a New York bred. They can run up there, obviously, and Barkley brings her down with his string. Got a lot of versatility. She could lead if they want. If somebody wants to go crazy, she can be close and kick on. She's done really, really well. She fits snugly with these on figures. Her buyers are actually best. Her thoroughgraphs are as good as any of them. So it's exciting to see her down here. She is testing open waters for the first time.
It'll be a really, really nice race, race number 7. Race number 8, 7.5 furlongs on our firm turf course here. And no scratches or changes out of this race, making it a full field of 11. And you went to the rail spot, Midnight Bella, coming from the Saffie Joseph barn.
Yeah, this was the race I talked about when you and I did our previews on Sunday. There's a couple things I like here. The post is a big deal. You want to be inside going 7.5 on the turf course. There's no doubt about it. And Saffie claimed this one from Danny Pita 2 back, and now he's going to run her on the turf for the first time. He tried to get her on it last time. She ran very well to be second on the Tapeta in an off-the-turf race. She's got solid turf form for Danny Pita, who's a lower percentage trainer. Now she's going to run on the grass for the first time for one of the best. She has a local turf win as well. The other thing, Samantha, she's not going to be a huge price, but she's going to be a better price. I would think Starship Malamar is going to be a pretty stiff favorite in here. So I'll go down on the inside with Midnight Bella.
In Starship Malamar, she actually ran a really good race in the Via Borghese, but just was ultimately outclassed and probably going a little bit further. But at least you know she's got that air in her lungs for this race. It should be a walk in a park. Now, do I trust her for the win slot? No, I would love to see these connections win, but still just maybe not enough here now. The number 3, Smart Spending, who I've got picked on top, you've got a little bit lower. This horse won really impressively. I know it just shows by a half a length, but it was a very gutsy win at that. And getting back to the grass, and the last time that she was on the grass, it was a winning one.
Yeah, she's 3 for 9 here on the Gulfstream Park turf course and 5 for 9 in the exacta, where conversely, Starship Malamar's 1 for 14. So kind of what Samantha mentioned could play out here. Paco back aboard. He was aboard for that win last time. And, you know, she's done good turf work, and we've talked about this. I know we're still getting into the turf season a little bit. If you've got prior form on this course, I do think it's a big deal.
It is. This is a really, it's a wide open race with 11 horses in it, and it'll be exciting to kind of see how it plays out and could be a big bomb. So just take a look at those as you're doing your handicapping. Race number 9, our finale of the day. Scratch the number 1 and 7 out of this race. This is going 5.5 furlongs on the Tapeta track here, and the 2-horse Midnight Getaway you are landing on top here.
I'm scratching into. I lost my long shot on the card today. Solomon's Gold was going to run tomorrow, presumably, at least. And so I scratch into Midnight Getaway. I do think we probably all agree his last 2 races are best in here. He actually won 2 back and was disqualified. Those are the 2 races, at least on figures, are best in here. He doesn't have the ideal running style on sprinting on the Tapeta. The pace might be a little muddled with a few of the scratches, but I think Midnight Getaway is a horse you definitely have to use in some way, shape, or form in here.
The number 5, Avidal Hero, coming from the Jose D'Angelo barn. You've got a stat here on this filly.
Yeah, we'll take a look at Avidal Hero off the claim for Jose, and it's a great sign that Jose Ortiz is going to ride to. This dumbs it right down to, off the claim Tapeta sprints. This is exactly what's going on here. And Jose D'Angelo, I don't think it's any surprise that he's a pretty high percentage with this, 23%. The ROI, it is what it is. It's a barn everybody is going to bet, but Jose does a lot of things well, and claiming and running in sprints on the Tapeta is one of them.
It is. And the number 3, Gabe, this is my long shot of the day here, Brian, coming from the Jeff Hiles barn. Tyler Gaffleone in the saddle. They're putting the blinkers on this horse now. They were really dull efforts at Churchill Downs over the last fall there. But the damn Mind Wander was so fast on synthetic. She was stakes placed on the synthetic, or Tapeta surface, I should say. And I just think that this might be the trick for this guy now. Possibly needs to go a little bit longer, but I'm willing to take a shot in a last race where you see in these last races a lot of upsets happen.
No, you're definitely right. And Jeff Hiles, if you're not familiar with this barn, he's come down from Churchill Downs from the Midwest. He's won a race already at the championship meet. This is a seismic class drop for this horse, running in a maiden special weight in Kentucky, and then even a 50. Now, he hasn't done any running, so we don't know if he can even run at all, but this is a big class drop. He reaches out. I think it's significant that he reaches out for Tyler Gaffleone, one of our top jockeys, so certainly Gabe is interesting, and it's the type of race you're definitely allowed to look for a price. We'll give a quick mention to Lucas Berticelli, who's going to ride the 9. Good to see him back. He rode a few races here last year, won some races in Delaware Park in 2020, so good to see him back here as well. And yeah, it's not an easy one to wrap this card up.
No, it's not at all, but that does wrap up the card. We'll be with you throughout the whole day giving our picks as well, and Ron will be joining us a little bit later, as well as Angela Hernan. And now we've got our lightning round on deck.
Yeah, so the standings. We haven't done it yet. We let things settle a little bit into the championship meet, but we've, 5 weeks in already, and Irad is setting a frantic pace, and Luis Saez, last year's champion jockey, he's got some work to do as Irad up to 17. We'll take a look at the trainers as well, and we'll see if, okay, there's Safi, and he broke the string of Todd Pletcher last year, but Todd's got 4 himself. How about Antonio Sano? That's great to see.
Yeah, it really is, and he has a lot of horses, and he's just been firing them in every couple weeks, and they've been winning, so you can't knock him for it.
When Antonio gets hot, he usually keeps it going for a few weeks, so definitely take note. We've had good turf races throughout, and we'll take a look at this one on Sunday as well. Good maiden special weight, and we'll run this here. And this was a sharp effort here for Be My Sunshine for a homebred.
Yeah, it really was, and excited to see kind of where this horse goes from that race on. Brian, your best bet of the day?
Yeah, my best bet is a little early on in the card. Race number 3, Ghostly Night, for me at 4-1 on the morning line.
Very square price. We'll see how that will hold up. Mine is coming from the Todd Pletcher barn. That is Classy Edition in race number 7. If I get anything close to 7-2, you'll find me at the windows.
I like it. I like it. I do not have a long shot. Scratched out of the last, so my price today is nil, but you have Gabe in the last.
I do have Gabe in the last. Going to take a little shot here, trying something new for the first time. Let's see if he can run up to how his mother was on the Tapeta. And tomorrow, Brian, we've got a really nice feature for 3-year-olds, 7.5 furlongs on the grass. I believe that's the distance.
7.5 on the grass tomorrow. We're going to show the replay of Riding Pretty. I don't know if you and I want to see the replay, because I know we both needed her last time. Here she is coming through horses and just going to miss in what was a really, really good effort for Eddie Owens and Paco Lopez, New Jersey connections that I know you know through and through.
Yeah, they were so excited. I'm sure just one more jump and she would have gotten it. So I'm excited to see her back. I think she just needed the race there, and she'll be sharpened up here in this one. And on Saturday, we've got you in the hot seat for Beat the Expert.
Well, Ron, and you did it, and goodness, I don't have that jacket on. That's happened a few times where I'm wearing that outfit. Beat the Expert. So, yeah, Gulfstreampark.com/wagering. You can sign up for that. It's a really fun contest. If you beat the expert, and I use that term very, very loosely, you can win a free polo, Gulfstream Park polo. We love giving them out.
Yeah, we do, and it hopefully won't look like an optical illusion like your jacket there.
I got to make a note to self not to wear that outfit this week.
Thank you guys so much for joining us on Gulfstream today. Samantha Perry with Brian Nato will be back throughout the day to guide you through some winners. Enjoy your day here at Gulfstream Park.
We're ready for the start. They're off.